Halloween's coming up. Just trying out new things.
Beamer Benz a Bentley, Beamer Benz a Bentley, Beamer Benz a Bentley. My jeans are never empty. Beamer Benz a Bentley, Beamer Benz a Bentley, Beamer Benz a Bentley. Your scheming don't affect me. I'm fresh, I'm fly, I'm so damn high. More than 500 horses when I roll by. I'm calm, I'm cool, everything brand new. I don't handcuff, you can get the whole damn.
All right, gonna be pretty quick this week. I apologize. Okay, Shark. I apologize. I've got a lot going on right now, but I know people are going to have a bitch fit if I don't do this, so let's get to it. Before the week that was, trades that went down, we already talked about the trade between Tony and I, where I gave up Jamal Charles for a third round. There's only one other trade, so this was probably the slowest week that we've had in a long time. The only other trade, Nate Marchini traded away Emmanuel Sanders to Rick, and in return got Eric Decker and a third-round pick. I know Nate really wanted that third-round pick, and Peyton has been struggling, but Emmanuel Sanders, he's always good for quite a few points, and Eric Decker is very hit and miss, especially with Fitzpatrick playing, and then once Geno comes back, I don't know how that's going to work, so the other thing is Nate really liked Emmanuel, and I always think if it's a toss-up, go with the guy that you like, the guy that you want to cheer for, that you have confidence in. So I actually liked that a little bit more for Rick because Nate liked Emmanuel, but Nate's also trying to get some of those picks back for next year, so can't complain too much about that. Let's go to the week that was, as I had mentioned. I was a little worried about starting Alshon Jeffrey as he was just coming back from being out for 4 weeks. That was a mistake. He put up 20 points. Andrew Luck, same type of thing. He's been out for a while, and he was a game-time decision because he wasn't playing until 8:30 on Sunday. I didn't want to risk that, so I decided to put in Tannehill, who only had me 2 points for a while. Luckily, he got some garbage time touchdowns. It was good because Tony had, I think, his highest week, or maybe last week was his highest week that he's had all season. He was going for a second win, couldn't quite get there. I pulled away with a 4-point victory, 123 to 119. 123 was the highest score this week, so I get another $5, which is cool. Bummer for Tony, who almost got, if he would have played anyone else, he would have got the win. So sometimes it's just how that goes. The Chimpy Kenyans, Justin, against Teenage Mutant Ninja Bortles, Micah. I thought Micah was going to win this one. Boy, his guys did not produce. Melvin Gordon with 0 points. Odell Beckham looked like he might not even play. He did get 12 points, which is good, but A.J. Green only 3. Denard only 2. I don't even know why you'd play him. Sam Bradford only got 11, and then Adrian Peterson with only 6. So Micah went for some big names. Haven't been paying off for him so far. And Adrian Peterson, A.J. Green, Melvin Gordon. Le'Veon got 8 for Justin, so not great, but Devontae Freeman has still been paying off. I think he's starting to go down a little bit. Only 27 this week. A couple weeks prior, he had 30 and 33. So he's still pretty strong, though. Who knows? I could be wrong. Maybe he'll keep this up. I thought he would decline a little bit. But Justin got a huge win, 100 to 49. Pretty sure that 49 points by Micah is the lowest that we have seen so far this season. Jessica, the Ballbusters, against Nate Termel, terminal illness. Nate got a win, 95 points, pretty average scoring. Drew Brees, 18. Calvin Johnson finally doing his classic Calvin Johnson, putting up 22. I wish he would do that more often. And then Brandon Marshall with 15, which was nice. Jessica just didn't get a lot of production. Peyton Manning has been struggling this year, only 11 points. She did well with Mark Ingram at 17, but Antonio Brown only 2, and Gronkowski only 11. I say only. He usually gets 100. So Jessica loses that one by 19. So Nate gets his second win of the season after having the strongest first week of the season. Dave against Kirk. I believe Mike and I both picked Dave to win this, and we got it right. Carson Palmer got 18, which was a good pick. Another 15 from Gary Barnidge from Cleveland. That has been a surprise pick. And then Jonathan Stewart, who I traded away, got him 19. Another 16 from Forte. Only Ty Montgomery and Mason Crosby got him less than double digits. Kirk put up a good fight, though. Andy Dalton got 27. Chris Ivory with 25. Allen Robinson with 14. It was a close one. Not really anything Kirk could have done to change that outcome. Dave got the third highest, point total at 117. He got the win. Nate Marchini, Rookie of the Year. Let's see if he can. Cam Southwood Cam was 4-1 before this. Nate only 2-3. Nate was hoping for a big win. Got 21 from Flacco. I thought Cam Newton would do better. 21 from Cam Newton. Both threw 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns. So kind of evened out that way. 19 from Steve Smith. So good job, Nate, taking the risk on that one and playing him. But only 9 from Justin Forsett. 11 from Ronnie Hillman's actually pretty good. Eric Decker didn't get you much. Only 9 points there. The Titans' defense struggled. Cam got quite a bit out of Aaron Rodgers as expected, and then LeGarrette Blount really kind of carried him to victory, along with the Eagles' defense. Had it not been for the Eagles' defense, had New York actually scored a little bit more and not done all that, Nate would have actually come away with the victory. If you take that 19 points away from Cam, Nate would have had the victory. Not the case, though. Cam rode the Eagles' D last year pretty far. Rode the Eagles' D. Apparently he's doing that again. Cam, myself, and Justin all had a 4-game win streak going, and I believe... Then we move on to Tyler, the only person with a 4-game losing streak. That included this week. He was against Rick. Only put up 73. That's with Eddie Lacy putting up only 1. Brandon Cooks only with 4. Julio with 9, which isn't bad. 5 from Martellus Bennett, and only 3 from Randall Cobb. That's pretty terrible. Russell Wilson got 17, and DeMarco Murray finally on track. Russell Wilson got 20. DeMarco Murray was 17. Arian Foster was 16, and Sammy Watkins got 10, which might be the most he'll get all season. And then Emmanuel Sanders, as I mentioned earlier in the trade, I have confidence in him. He got 16. So Rick put up 100 points, got him his 2nd win of the year. That's all that happened this last week. If we look at, speaking of trades, let me just take a quick detour. If everybody goes into the Google Sheet, just so you know, now where there was that big table that showed all the trades, you can scroll down a little bit. It tells you how many of your original picks that you have, and then it tells you how many picks that you have acquired via trade. So it gives you your total picks. So if you look under myself, I have 12 total picks left. The goal is to have 13. So 13 picks, because it doesn't include your 2 keeper rounds. I have 12. Cam has 15. Dave has 15. Jessica has 14. So there are some people that have more, and then obviously people that have less. And then you look at Tyler. Sold a lot for this season. It hasn't paid off for him. He has the fewest picks left with 11. So if we go back to that week, look at how that has affected standings. If playoffs were to start today, Justin would still be in first place. He'd now be playing Rick after that win. Dave would be in 4th place. He'd be playing myself in 5th. Cam would be in 2nd place playing Jessica, who has now dropped to 7th after she was in 1st for 3 or 4 weeks. Kirk would have the 3rd spot, would be playing Micah at 6. Nate Marchini has dropped now from 9 to 10, so Nate Termel has taken the 9 spot, Nate Marchini with the 10. Tyler has dropped to the 11 spot, which I did not think would happen. He's got a very strong roster. They're just not producing right now. And then Tony still at the 12 spot. So the Commish versus Cam, I killed it. I got 145. Cam with only 108. Not much he could have done to get any more than that. So finally, I'm 2-4 against Cam, so I'm trying to right the ship. And then Micah and I had all of the same picks last week. That's just sometimes how it goes. I'll try, I guess, to lie one of these times and make it somewhat different. But we both had the same picks, so no one gained or lost anything. We both got 3 correct picks, and that was picking myself, Dave, and Cam to win. We got the other 3 wrong. And finally, I told you it was going to be fast. Finally, looking at this week, myself against Micah. And I just got rid of the thing that I needed. This is great. This is absolutely great. This is what happens when you speed through shit. Okay, myself against Micah. I'm leaning towards myself. I now have Andrew Luck. Lamar Miller seems to be back on track. LaShawn McCoy, same thing with him. I am losing Demarius this week. Got to throw in Leonard Hankerson. But DeAndre Hopkins still been killing it. He is the number 1 wide receiver right now, so I love that trade that I have. Jimmy Graham, hoping to get a couple points from him. We're going to try Charkandrick West this week. Filling in for Jamal Charles. We're going to see how he can do. Didn't do great last week. Against Micah, yeah, you got Phillip Rivers against Oakland. That's beneficial. Adrian Peterson, I have no idea. He's the X Factor. I have no idea what he is going to do. Last week with only 6, we've seen him put up a ton of points, so who knows? We're differing this week. I'm picking myself. Mike is picking himself. And then Justin against Tony. Tony, I'm assuming he will throw brain fart. Todd Gurley back into the mix. He doesn't have him in there right now. I assume he'll throw him back in. That'll help a little bit. But Matt Ryan against Tennessee, Le'Veon against Kansas City, Devontae against Tennessee, Keenan against Oakland, Jordan Cameron against Houston. Those are some very beneficial matchups. We're both going with Justin on this one. Jessica has to not play Peyton this week. He's on a bye, so I guess she lucks out from that. But it's Jessica against Tyler. Jessica's on a 2-game losing streak. She was in first. Tyler on a 4-game losing streak. But Mike and I are both going with Jessica. If you look at the matchups right now, other than defense and kicker, she's projected to win each of the matchups according to ESPN. I think a lot of her guys start to get on track. I'm picking Jessica to right the ship. Tyler, one more week of loss, and then maybe we'll see if you can turn it around after that. We're both going with Jessica. We've got a split on the next one. Rick just won 1 to go 2-4, and Nate Trammell just won 1 to go 2-4. Fairly even right now, projecting Rick to get a 6-point win. I am picking Rick to win. Nate Trammell is picking, Micah is picking Nate Trammell to win. I don't see Calvin doing what he did last week. Drew Brees, who knows what happens with him. Alfred Morris is terrible. Carlos Hyde might not even play. I think Marshawn starts to do better, and Arian's going to continue to do well. Antonio Gates, I think he'll get a lot better. And then the Cardinals against Baltimore, I think that's a very beneficial matchup. So I'm going with Rick. Mike is going with Nate Trammell. CC's TDs, Cam Southwood, against Bill Cosby's sleepers, Kirk. Cam's got Aaron Rodgers on bye, and not super beneficial matchups. Carlos Williams might not even play. If you look at ESPN, they're projecting Kirk to win every matchup except for the kicker position, which really they have them both at 8, so that's almost a push. And yet, Cam's only projected to lose by 13 in this one. I am picking Kirk to win, as is Micah. I think Kirk's got a lot of weapons. Blake Bortles has been playing well, although he is against Buffalo. Chris Ivory killing it. So I'm going with Kirk. But Micah did note that Frank Gore sits when he pees. He wanted to make sure that I threw that in there. Finally, Dave against Nate Marchini. Dave currently projected to lose by 2, although that's with Mason Crosby in there and he has a bye. So who knows after the shuffling. I think Cam Newton does very well against Philly. Tevin Coleman, Nate's starting him currently. I think he will start to get more carries. We'll see. Steve Smith, I think he's going to keep killing it, even though it's against Arizona. And Eric Decker against New England. Micah did not like the matchups for Nate, so Micah went with Dave. I think Nate, who has lost 3 straight, will turn it around. I'm picking Nate to win this one and move to 3-4. All right, now I can close this stuff. That's all I have for this week. Trade block very active this week. Everybody's trying to get some trades out there, do some shuffling around. We're starting to see where the cream is sort of settling, and I think the league is becoming a little bit more identifiable. Everybody in the league in terms of what their team is and what their team isn't. So that's all that I have for this week. Good luck to everybody except for Micah. So keep up with me, Hat. Good luck for everybody except for Micah. Have a good week.